head on a swivel, looking around. And that is where we are going to end tonight.
No! I wanted to fight.
You'll have your chance.
Oh.
Trust me. You will have your chance.
That's a good spot to stop, I think.
Child, I have
It's
another
9:30.
I really thought about stopping mid what this is going to be, but then I'm like, it's 9:30.
We can go to 11, right?
Potentially, but I don't think
Yeah,
anyone
start
really
late. We can
wants
go
to.
late. For sure.
For sure. Oh, show. So Kano, is that the closest you've been to death? Oh, well.
No,
the
the last
right,
session.
right. You did almost die last session.
I think the reason
Well, he also went down against the ghost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that fight was not supposed to be hard.
I learned my place, I think.
Everyone just
Difference.
For you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I used to think, oh, rogue, sneak attack, daggers. You run up and you stab people, then you try to run away. If you don't get away, well, it sucks. No, I stand far away and I shoot people. That's what I do.
that is the rogue life.
Past tactics, in my opinion, they can work with rogue, but you have to take, what is that feat? Mobile. Yeah.
Get that free disengage. Is that what it is? Or is it just extra movement?
If you hit an enemy, you don't get attacks of opportunity, which meshes really well with the monk specifically.
Oh,
because you get so many attacks, so many chances to hit. Even if you hit it for 6 damage, you can still just dip.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
A mobile monk with high speed is great. What'd you do? Did you break Kano? I guess I'll have to kill him next session, so you don't have to worry about the mini anymore.
He snapped his little fur tail off.
We can make that canon.
Dang it, that sucks. Now you will have to kill him.
I do like this setup. That's a little bit more zoomed in than the other one. It is kind of annoying with the like the screen being right there. It's kind of like the like back of the laptop, like covering like just the corner of it.
Yeah, I should probably hit higher.
It doesn't really make a huge difference when we're there, but it's cool. Feels like we're actually like across the table from each other and not just, however many miles, 100 of miles away. 600, 700?
More than
something
3.
like that.
More than 3 for sure.
More than 3, less than 1,000.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't use it for anything, but I put some on.
So,
is this open?
Yeah, you gotta squeeze the things on.
Yeah, that's what I was just making sure before.
Yeah, well, just trying not to be. Okay, you got it right.
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about I feel like compared to what I'm used to, I'm giving you guys a lot of additional NPCs and stuff to control. Do you guys?
Well, I think
that's too much.
I feel like that's a function of you not wanting to deal with the mobs and the NPCs at the same time. I feel like normally if we got into combat and there was just a bunch of like with the dwarves when John was DMing, he was just having them go every which way according to whatever he thought was what they were doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if we control them, we can kind of meta game and like I was telling Kano to do to shove the guy down at the end of his term so that what's his face could get a advantage on an attack against the guy, because that would make sense. But that's kind of metagaming-ish, whereas that's not something that you would do if you were also controlling them. So I got pro and con, but I get if you don't want to do it, that giving it to us to do makes sense.
I do it for multiple reasons. Number one, I, as a DM, tend to do mechanics that I really enjoy as a player. And as a player, I really enjoy controlling multiple characters and NPCs. But
it just kind of sucks because I can't really do it effectively. You know?
Yeah. Well, that brings up my next question on like how to decide who controls what. You know, because and also like the other reason I give you guys NPCs and other things to control is especially when you have like a party of 3, that makes it a lot more difficult. Like just the
Yeah.
chance of dying just to good rolls increases dramatically versus like a party of 5.
Oh yeah.
So like when we were playing with parties of 5, you guys didn't get any NPCs because you didn't need them. You had
Yeah.
plenty of
Options.
numbers, you know.
But with a party of 3, it's a little bit more difficult to get it. But at the same time, my thought process is kind of like
This super board is not.
it's the encounters that we
Uh-huh.
have with 3 people are a lot more tense and exciting,
Uh-huh.
even if we do have with or without the NPCs.
Yeah.
But with 5 people or even more, it tends to start like the battle becomes a lot more hectic, but it takes longer. So it's like it's a huge trade-off, and I know which one I would want to DM more, but like that's a preference. And I feel like it's a lot easier to DM and like tailor encounters to be really exciting with us.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost rather scale back how many enemies there are and then do away with the NPCs.
That will shorten combat a lot.
But I mean, like,
Yeah.
instead of having like 6, go down to maybe 4 or 5.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter the number of enemies
Sometimes,
as
like,
long as they're not all super threatening. Like having a few low level, like those horses. How much do they have? Like 20 something.
19. Yeah.
Yeah,
19.
those
The
horses were
did
good.
at 29. Gladiator was a bit beefier. He had like it was either 80 or 120, and then the assassins were right at 50.
Yeah, because I rolled really high on that sleep and only got one of them, barely. I'm just like I don't really have any good area control. Concentration, and like most of them are one individual at a time.
Sure.
So I was like, oh, I could cast Phantasmal Force and take out that gladiator by sending squirrels up his pants. I mean, that's funny, but it would have been like if I did that, I would have lost the haste on Kano. So it's like, do I do that? No, I don't want to leave Kano out in the open with his only defense being squirrels in the guy's pants. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, that's also just the general trade-off of haste.
Well,
I'd rather you do what you want, and then I don't.
Well, I mean, it works good for my character to give you haste, and you're getting up in their face, and I'm, back range pinging off them with like fireballs and firebolts and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I just need if I'm going to be doing that, I need more direct damage evocation spells, and it will work if we're up against mages, and I'm going to be using my 3rd level spells as counter spells instead of haste. So it's just how it works out, I guess.
Speaking of which, y'all want to know Hammond's stat block?
Hammond?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, his name is Hammond. He is a nature cleric. Level 1.
So he's
Armor class is 16. Hit points is 8. He is his DC is 13 plus 5 to hit. He knows cantrips Guidance, Sacred Flame, which is permanent, Thaumaturgy, Cure Wounds, and Fairy Fire. It has 2 slots.
Hammond sucks.
Yeah, Hammond sucks.
We need to give him some goblins.
I never want to make NPCs feel like they're on the same level as you guys.
I know what to do. We need to capture a bunch of goblins and just line them up for him to kill.
And
to level them up.
Yes, it totally works. Like
For sure, because this is definitely an XP based campaign.
I feel like XP in a campaign can just, especially if you let your NPC get XP too, it always just breaks it. You know, you're just gonna end up having a bunch of people like, well, I have XP now, so I can level up. I become stronger, and like
at some point in my life, I want to run an XP based campaign just to see what the pros and cons of it are. But
until everybody starts killing random people just so they can.
As of right now,
to do XP campaigns, you have to be able to. You have to reward non-combat stuff with XP.
Yeah.
Which becomes difficult to scale.
What I want to do is, if I ever do an XP based campaign, is I want to homebrew an entire setting where the entire world works off of the XP mechanic as far as for flavor.
Yeah.
So this townsperson's too weak. Well, it's because they don't have the stomach to kill the rats and the goblins nearby. And you have people who are like, well, they bottleneck. They're too scared to go after the troll. They'll go after a goblin just fine.
Sure.
And you could get to have if a successful goblin spot has been killing a bunch of people, they are legitimate threats. Like, they will be higher level. They will have more hobgoblins.
Huh?
Upgraded versions of themselves have reached higher levels.
Yeah, also screws immensely on experience with the magic items that you give out. Like, you have to take a much more balanced approach than what I've taken with you guys, because you guys have, for your level, have a good amount of magic things.
Yes. I feel like
up tremendously.
I feel like the most egregious thing, as far as that's concerned, is the the three biggest things are definitely the +2 armor and the was it +2 weapon +1 armor?
+1 armor.
Yeah, the +2 weapons were a little early, although we definitely earned that with that arena fight. That was.
Yeah, you guys weren't supposed to go into that fight until you were
you said level 8.
You are now.
You said you scaled it for level 8.
I'm correct. I did.
No, that was last one, not the one where we got the weapons +2. Weapons +2 was the one we did at level 4, level 3, one of the other.
Right. Yeah.
And it was scaled for level 5.
I think
and it was scaled for 4 people, and we barely survived.
So I'm hearing is we're really good at fighting.
Yeah.
Except we almost died.
Well, I mean, that was back when
I tripled what the CR said to do on the high side, and I was just like, "Oh, let me take one of the hardest challenges I can throw at them, triple it, and see if they live." And y'all did.
That's for what we just did.
The arena.
No,
fight.
the arena last week or the last time we played.
Because
the arena fight we just did.
Yeah, because for a party of y'all's size, which I believe was 4, the CR scale was
the bear
3 to 9, and I gave you 3 8s. Yeah, so.
Yeah, the CR scale can be very, very wrong.
Yeah,
but it also depends on how well. And to be fair, Kano is a incredibly well optimized barbarian.
Yeah,
he does his job really well.
He's so hard to kill.
I feel like part of that is you've never given any of your enemies +1 weapons.
Yeah, they've had +1.
Because if they had +1s,
yeah,
that'll. I think that was actually the reason why he went down to the Ghost, right? Because the Ghost had a +1 weapon or something.
Yeah, he had a +1.
Well, we never healed up after the arena. We went
that too.
back. Yeah, because I was low on health.
Yeah, and also I haven't really thrown that much magic users at you guys either.
No, you haven't.
It's really been mainly physical people.
Although that's been your decision as DM because you don't know how to structure that quite well.
Well,
You were saying?
the first several campaigns, yes, I felt comfortable the past like 4 or 5 to do it. It just hasn't necessarily made a ton of sense to do it. But
Like narratively.
yeah, correct. Like, oh, you're in the middle of the woods and 2 wizards try to rob you. Like it.
I mean, you could have us attacked by like some druids at the very least. That would make some sense. Especially after we started chopping down the woods around our our town, you know.
You're like, no, love the trees.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Hippies.
but yeah,
Bunch of hippie druids.
that's where we're at with that. But yeah,
Like,
I mean, you definitely have more magic coming up, and also like the other thing is, I don't want every enemy you guys beat to have magical weapons that you can just
Exactly. Pawn off for a lot of money pretty quickly.
if you're beating a whole bunch of low levels that each have a +1 dagger, that's a couple hundred gold for every person. You know, like I don't want to do that.
It gets expensive unless it's like, you know, like think at this point, like if we take out the Master of Magic and then we go out army, like I think it would be reasonable for you to send like assassins after us that are equipped with like magical gear, you know, or something along those lines. But I don't know like how far you thought into like the economics of all of the really expensive stuff, and like we have the magic shop in our town, and it's like, where is Dabbledob getting the money to procure all these magic items?
Sure.
And like, does he just have connections, or is he making them himself and selling them at a huge markup? Like, how does that work?
So I mean, in the background, he's constantly buying and selling to travelers as well. I mean, that was the reason his shop was put there. It wasn't to sell to you guys, but you guys just don't see him selling it.
Selling anything,
You go to the grocery store, you don't see how much business the grocery store does. You just see the people that are at the grocery store when you're at the grocery store.
Exactly.
Like, that's kind of been my frame of reference, that there are things going on in the background that he's constantly buying and selling for. It's just, for me to actually like write that down and keep track of that on a piece of paper for something that you guys will never see and never care about is not worth my time on actually be like, okay, how much gold does he have? Well, if
I
he
care
rolls
about
this,
everything
he sells
you
this,
do.
if I roll this. Oh yeah? Have you read all of the book?
Whereas, like in Skyrim, we have the inventory of the person that never changes, and then you just wait outside their store for like 24 hours, and then they got a new entirely brand new money.
Restock.
Where did that come from?
The history book. There was half of it, and then Josh tried to mend it, and I'm like, no, you can't mend something I haven't written yet.
I read that whole thing. That was pretty fun. You? Yeah, well,
did you post
I skimmed it to start with anyway.
It's in the Discord. You were there. 14 pages. I haven't worked on any since, but. And my main reason for that book, well, for one, it was for me to help flesh out some of the background things of the world. But secondly, to give like a couple subtle threads.
Hints as far as like stuff that we could do in the future.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, in the past, or
correct.
You know, if you ever want to implement time travel in campaign.
Yeah, and like right now, really, like the last 10 sessions have been very like loose setup type structure.
It got lost at the thing.
Yeah. But like now, like this, to take down RTC is going to take a while. Like this is the first like structured thing that you guys are actually attempting to do together, apart from just like little one-off things, you know?
Well, I mean, I feel like we've been building up our like base of operations, and now we have. Oh shoot! They came to our place. They tried to muscle their way in, and they tried to look at our books and like swing their metaphorical swords around.
No, not so metaphorical, actually.
They're non-metaphorical swords.
You know what I'm saying. But it still's like that's a really, especially that interrogation scene, that felt really rough. Like I just like it was a little bit like this person's just doing their job. They're just working. Like, I mean, you could say that like the Nazis were just doing their job, but
I love the interrogation. Like you were
I
getting
did too.
into it. I'm like, man, this is great.
I was gonna get.
This is a great speech. You must atone for your sins. I'm like, holy crap!
it was like so over the top coming from Zoe, actually.
Yeah.
Like if we had Josh there, like we could have had the cleric do that speech, and that would have been fun.
Oh, the fact
when you commit that hard, man, you get some leniency.
Thank you. The idea was that it was obvious.
It was fun.
That this girl was just in her mind doing her job.
Yeah.
She was not intentionally being evil from what he could see.
Yeah.
So she was already not necessarily positioned mentally against us. She's in this somewhat neutral position.
Sure.
Other than we just killed her allies. But
Yeah.
potato. They're also just mercs.
Yeah.
As far as we know, she'd have like tight love for all of them.
Sure.
Yeah,
So-
it seems that the RTC is not exactly like super patriotic employees.
To torture her would do nothing more than just pit her against us.
Exactly.
Hey.
Because we're putting her in pain.
But at
So
the
what I
same
want to
time,
do is manipulate her into being on our side and feeling like not only would it be a good idea to be on our side for her own sake, but she needs to be on our side.
Yeah.
And so I just played that up.
Yeah. Maybe that could be a learning experience for Zora based off his experience.
but for Kano, she attacked. He's protecting people. So he's gonna make sure to neutralize the threat. That's the whole point of.
Well, if you
How
want
he
to follow
is.
her and stab her 2 miles away from the town, go for it. I don't.
You already lost her. I mean,
Well, no, I mean when
Well, I can take the bear.
because I could have. I mean, I could have just followed her. Dashed and caught up to her, and then.
I think Jarthur is like very much an idealist in some ways, but in other ways, like he's very vicious if you get on his bad side. I mean, like the way he killed that giant in the arena, just like forcing the guy to laugh, telling Kano to toss him in acid after he like hit him once. Like he takes a grudge pretty much all the way, and like the fact that he basically dumped most of a wand of magic missile into one dude that one time. Like, I feel like he's a very vindictive personality, and I think I've been discovering like just how deep that goes. But like at the same time, once he was like, this person's still alive because I put her to sleep on the battlefield. We are capturing this person, and I don't know what to do about that.
yeah.
And so he's just like, you know what? I'll just take care of all these corpses.
Yeah. And I like that you guys are having the same shared experiences and getting totally different things out of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I think
exactly.
Arthur dealt with that was really funny because he doesn't know if we're gonna go tear her fingernails off,
Yeah.
pull her hair out by the roots, and basically just torture her.
He just was like, you know what? I don't have a problem with how they're gonna deal with it. But honestly, like it's not my job. We already said I'm in charge of domestic growth and stuff like that. So I'll go check on the lady at the farm and see how her doing. Not so much the interrogation of a prisoner. That's more of a security concern, or maybe even Zorro. Like I was or Zephyr with the foreign relations.
By the way, how much gold are y'all wanting to spend on houses, and how many like normal level houses versus like expensive?
I feel like we gotta look at some defense right now, honestly.
We can.
Well, we
You didn't discuss that at the town. You did discuss the houses. I just didn't get the numbers from you.
I thought we
So this
said
is-
3 regular, 2 larger,
Did you?
or 3 at 50 and 2 at 100.
Okay, so that would be 350, right?
350 to 100.
yeah 350.
I'm pretty positive that's
Okay,
what
I couldn't
we
remember
said.
that. Yeah.
Well, good
That
thing
sounds
you-
right.
So now.
True. True. So
Wait,
great.
what?
He can go back and listen.
Because they're recording now.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be sure to clip that part out and mute it.
Wait. Yeah.
Just if it's different from what we said now, I'll leave it.
But if it's the same, that's his own YouTube short now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make YouTube short. We'll go viral instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, that's totally how that works.
Even if it was, I wouldn't want that to happen.
I don't know if I'd want to go viral like that.
That's what I just said.
I don't know. I think y'all missed the Monday.
I think that would shoot my professional DM aspirations in the foot. Also, we're up to 21 views so far on the first video.
Nice.
Bro, who you been sharing that with?
I haven't shared it with anybody.
I put it on the Discord. I gave it to my mom, and then I think she might have put it on our family chat, so she shared it with my siblings. So my sister in Guam might have checked it out, but
I think Cameron's just watching on like 4 different screens at the same time.
Well, Callie might be watching it.
Oh, gotcha.
And then Caitlin might be.
Yeah.
Maria might have watched it too.
Yeah.
We'll see if they comment. By the way, comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz if you really feel like you need to. If you don't, that's fine too.
I liked, but I did not comment.
I commented.
Or subscribe.
I subscribed. Wow. Dang.
As you can see,
I haven't subscribed yet because I've been mostly seeing it through the channel lens, and I haven't actually looked it up on my other setup because I have two Chromes open. One's signed into the account, and the other one's signed into the into me. So.
Yeah. Well, I just want to go back and watch the interrogations.
Yeah, interrogations.
Yeah, honestly, it was fun, and I was like, I just need to like.
I would say
same time.
It's the best roleplay I've ever seen you do necessarily, because I just can't remember everything. I would say it's the most enjoyable I've ever seen you do.
So you enjoy me guilt tripping?
Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic.
It was the conviction you put in it.
I do enjoy guilt tripping.
He was being.
You need to be next time. Like if this character dies, John, you need to be a paladin who plays that for straight.
Ooh.
Just constantly plays that for straight. Like you need to atone.
Awful good and just totally screw up everything.
Steal this? Absolutely not. You cannot steal.
I think lawful good as a DM or as a player group mix-up is harder to deal with than someone who is like chaotic evil.
Oh yeah, dealing with a Sharia, you don't need to do anything.
I know.
You wouldn't do anything.
I know, because my character would, you know.
Well, I think like even if you do a lawful good character, you have to have like here are the lines that this character would never cross, and here's some lines that are more on the wibbly wobbly side. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise it's just not going to be all that fun.
Well, I mean that also depends on like what the other characters are. Like
that's true too.
You can have a bard that could potentially gaslight a paladin into doing all sorts of things under the guise of good. But I mean,
or you could have it the other way around. You know?
Yeah.
You could have like a happy-go-lucky idiot bard, and then this paladin who's like, we must go take these things out, and like they're legitimately going on a crusade, and the happy-go-lucky bard just, y'all are big idiots.
Yeah.
Walking.
Cameron said he watched 100 minutes of it, and I had to stop.
He got bored that quick.
Probably.
I get it.
I mean, like it's not like it's
Watch 30 minutes though.
super engaging, especially if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to like do a quick recap.
Start like a new one,
Yeah.
and start it from the beginning. That
Oh
way.
yeah, well we can when I kill you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
easier said than done.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Especially with Kano.
Or that a TBK equals campaign over, right? Like,
You
y'all are
did say
aware of
something
this,
like that.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you can TP.
If?
Yeah.
Buddy, never say if.
If.
The DM can do whatever they want whenever they want.
If.
It's just
If.
You gotta do it like have us dropped into like one of those marble mazes with like the floor moving, except have one of those like Indiana Jones style death balls chasing us, and that would be like a really fun. I was reading up on like the mechanics of that. They had this whole setup where there was like this ball drops. Its move speed is like 60 feet in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to it can go on initiative, and it like chases you. And if it goes through the space that your character occupies, it does. It was 10d10 damage.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
And that way, it's just like you're just running from this impending like thing through tunnels, and I think that would just be a really fun like encounter idea.
I also at some point like y'all. Alright, so I guess this will give you guys some like intentions of my plans for the future. If you guys do beat the 5th and final level of the arena in Dandelion, that will basically unlock sponsors that will pay you to go to other arenas and do other like professional fights there. And like I have so many ideas in my head of like very unique arena fights that I can't wait to run. If y'all don't die. But at some point, I really want to do that because like there's a whole bunch of really sick mechanics in there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I have my backup ready if my character dies. So I think I told you that already.
I do have my backup. My backup's a cleric.
Is it really?
Did I not tell you about my backup?
I think we talked about you building a cleric, but I didn't know that was going to be your backup for this campaign.
What is everybody's backup? I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
It's a good build. What did you say, David?
I was asking what is everybody's backup. I'm kind of curious now. I feel like we've talked about this before, but
I have 4 that I haven't nailed down yet. I always make extra because I change my mind so much.
Yeah, that's true.
My first one's a bard. I'm not even lying.
I think it would be interesting to see these guys who've never seen you play as a bard play as a bard. Bring out some Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah,
it would be. It's a lot different.
Yeah,
it's a very different.
The day he got arrested.
Yeah,
I think that would have been one of those.
Oh, that was
shorts.
Peak bard, man. Peak bard. What's yours, Arthur?
Referring to my character's name. So my backup is Gregory.
Okay.
And he's a dragonborn barbarian.
Oh.
And the idea with this guy is he's was an acolyte and raised in a temple. So he thinks he knows all the stuff, but he's got like anger management issues. And the idea was he's going to take a couple levels in barbarian.
Yeah.
And then start multi-classing into warlock.
Yeah.
And go for like the eldritch invocation of the like the sword or whatever. But like he thinks he's doing holy magic.
Yeah.
In actuality, he's just like channeling, some
So he thinks he's getting like divine inspiration from a god, but instead it's coming from a devil.
Oh yeah, he's really dumb. He's really dumb.
Wow,
like
that's
dumb as bricks. And he's a red scaled dragonborn. He's really, really beefy and tall. He's like the exact opposite of my current character. And the biggest thing that's noticeable about him, he's just have absolutely massive horns. Just like they constantly get caught in door frames, and he just has the thickest neck you have ever seen.
Nice. Honestly, that's not a bad party composition. Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, like...
Yeah, except it's after he takes a couple levels in Barbarian, he switches to Warlock, so that changes a lot.
That it does.
Well, I don't do straight Bard on mine.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got
one is a Paladin and one is a Warlock.
he's got a -2 intelligence. And 10 in wisdom. Honestly, I was
crazy for the Goliath. And I rolled it in front of you too.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking good.
It was pretty wild, yeah.
But yeah, it's like I like coming up with a character and then trying to like, what would this like the theme of this character do? Because like,
What? Now that you say that, Eric, I think that may be what I shoot out my next.
What?
Might do a Tubba or a Busta.
Yeah.
And
Busta for Joe.
may take a dip into like Sorcerer or something for Alter Self.
Well, didn't Maria go to like Warlock or something? What did she do?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, how's that gonna work?
What do you mean?
Eldritch Invocation.
Who is she gonna be her patron? I gotta have a talk with her about this. This is my sister who's going off the rails.
Yeah. Yep.
Alright. Well, I enjoyed it, fellas.
Yep.
Yeah, this
Have a
was
good one.
one of the most enjoyable sessions I've had. So
Oh,
far.
was it? Really? Why do you think that is?
Because he roleplayed.
Because you got to roleplay and you got praise for it? that little confirmation thing? Maybe.
I think, for me, the combat just felt really smooth. Like, that combat, our rogue was roguing, our barbarian was barbarianing, I was magicking. Like, it just felt like everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Your job.
Well, no,
We were, like, we didn't have that many dropped attacks, like, we didn't miss a ton. He missed, like, one round.
There wasn't a long gap in between, like, does this hit? It was like...
It was pretty snappy.
Yeah, it was actually...
Yeah.
Answering questions quickly.
Well, I think that's also familiarity with the character.
Yeah.
That way you can roll and be like, my modifier is this without even having to look.
Familiar with the mechanics because you remember how on the other one you had so many that it was just...
Yeah.
So...
Well, also, to be fair, these characters are pretty simple. Like, horses, they do trampling and they attack.
Yeah.
The rogues hide, then they shoot with a bow. So the guys just attack multiple times over and over and over. So for me, it's not a thingy process. But
Also,
that's why
that was-
I'm have now on like my magic stuff. I have like a list of hey, you need to do this. If this happens, you do this. If this happens, you do this. That way, I still have that same simple line of reasoning for my magic users that I have with like simple non-magic users like here.
Can I
So
just
where
say,
that shouldn't really take any longer, even if they are magic versus physical.
that was terrible de-escalation when that guy showed up. Like,
Oh yeah.
everyone was just like,
I was trying to like talk him out of it, and everyone else was just geared up for combat.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to talk him out of it without giving him what he wanted.
Honestly, I had like obviously for things like that, you can go either way depending on dice rolls and what y'all want to do. I had in my mind like a 60-40 chance that y'all would make a deal with them, and then the 40% chance being actually attacking them.
well, we didn't attack anybody. They attacked us.
Well, it was.
You definitely goaded them, Senor Zorro there, with that psychic talk in your head crap.
I was just trying to be his conscience.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, but his conscience sounds like the guy he was just talking
Well,
to.
we got what I wanted.
I never anticipated that ability would become so useful for getting in opponents' heads.
So good.
I was like, oh great, I'm going to be able to communicate with my friends.
Yeah.
I never thought about communicating with my enemies.
Yeah. As far as like utility things go, it's come to proven very effective in a lot of situations that I wouldn't have thought of at a first glance.
Yeah, I mean, I just wrapped that poor cleric around my finger.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
to be fair, you didn't. You could tell on your face when he did that. You were like, "Wait."
It was not
It's like-
intentional on my part. I was like, oh!
I was like, "Uh-oh."
That was a really good one. I
am your...
kept on trying to like look for ways I could be really clever with like maybe I could like make an illusion of like a shark jump up and over the bridge like randomly during combat, and then be like, "Wait, what?" Like that would have been pretty fun. But like I just couldn't figure out a way to like do that effectively.
Sure,
You know?
That's actually something I really appreciate about the way you DM. You
Yeah.
reward things like that. You give opportunities to be creative.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
as, oh yes, I am the disembodied voice of the sacred flame.
Yeah.
Yes,
I am
hear me.
on fire, speaking from my mouth in the flames. Yeah.
inside your head.
Yeah.
Hear ye.
Being flexible is good.
It's difficult though sometimes. I don't stretch nearly enough.
Also, like, a
Me,
part
honestly.
of also what I'm learning is how, which I've been mentioning this to John before, is multiple ways to achieve the same conclusion.
Yeah.
And me trying to think ahead of time of like, okay, they can do this, they can do that, they can do this. Like, for example, like Hammond, right? That shack didn't exist until you guys decided to not go to Rose Thorn, which I gave you guys a chance to fail with a very high DC to not find it, and somebody rolled like a freaking 27. I'm like, well, okay.
I think
the
it was
DC's
26.
or 26. I'm like, the DC's not 27. So, guess what? I'm going to change all of my plans for this guy and move him over here now, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I have some pretty crazy
The worst part
checks.
was
Like my investigation is a plus
exactly
9.
what John's gonna do.
Oh, the interrogation?
Would no sneaking into the window and rifling
Oh.
through his stuff.
It was fun.
Also,
Like, that was honestly, it felt like it. Like I realized what you were doing with the character there, Eric. But like I was trying to figure out a way that like organically my character would realize that this guy's on our side. Here's how we can like get him to help us.
Sure.
Like and like getting into an argument about the nature of magic just feels so on character for like a kid that just got out of college.
Yeah.
Like magic college, thinks his school is the best, you know?
Well, see, honestly, I was really suspicious. I was like, this guy's totally just a cover agent. The entrance is like under this shack.
I was waiting for the entrance to be under, like you
The two different kinds of people. The people who've been DMs and
I was gonna, like, stick up in the hide, stand in the back.
Yeah.
Because this guy's definitely the lookout.
You're going to kill Hammond?
I didn't
He has
know,
8 health points, bro.
I didn't know he was a decent sort of fella.
Yeah.
I thought he was a spy.
Yeah.
The door guard for these evil jerks.
Yeah.
I thought he was like immediately like a leader of the church that you had like ousted because he was like way too kind and was, but like it seems to me that now like seeing his stuff that he's definitely more of like a, oh, this guy was like a unpaid intern, but the Rose Thorn Trading Company came in and they pay really well.
Yeah.
And the unpaid intern had to be let go because we couldn't afford to pay his room and board. And now he's vowed revenge against the Rose Thorn Trading Company. Will that bite us in the butt? Probably not.
Yeah. No.
My movement speed was like 15.
I have done way too much to get a higher AC, honestly.
Yeah, you have optimized the crap out of your AC. I mean, like, not too badly, but it's pretty bad.
Or could have done it worse. I went ahead and took another level in Rogue this time instead of. If I had taken another level in Artificer, I could have put an infusion on that shield, which is already a +3 AC in total. I could have made it a +4 in total, and also given it a.
No, it's not +3, it's +1 because it gives you 3 AC.
But I mean, in total.
Yeah.
Total, he's adding it all up.
+4 shield.
No.
It's +4 to your AC.
It's a +1 shield.
Yeah.
I could have turned it into a +2 shield.
Yeah.
Plus, given it, I think, some charges that do shove something. You can take an action to knock someone away with it.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I could have optimized it a little bit more, but then I was thinking, I keep going rogue.
Yeah.
I may as well do rogue things.
Yeah.
I like having a higher AC and being able to wear medium armor and so on.
Yeah.
But uncanny dodge, I'm having damage right now.
Having damage is better than 5% less chance of taking a physical attack.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I was
Uncanny
like,
dodge, OP. Please no.
It's really freaking good. Because like in our Monday campaign, by the time I got to like level 7 or 8, like I even as a rogue, I was just tankier than most of a lot of our tanks, just because.
Well, the big thing is it's all about how many people attack you per turn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and the nature of the attacks.
Usually, it's not more than 2.
Yeah,
when we're playing, because also part of that is our tables are very spread out in terms of like player base. Like minimum is sometimes we have 4 or 5, but usually it's like 6 to 8. By the time you have that many players, we're playing for 2 hours. By the time you have a little bit of roleplay, then you go into combat, you're not going to have 10, 12, 13 rounds of combat. You're going to have 2 or 3 rounds of combat.
Yeah. And you got to have encounters structured around that mode.
Correct.
Even when they have like 7 or 8 of the bad guys, when you have 7 or 8 people, everybody just basically have one.
Yeah, it spreads it out so much.
Unless somebody does something stupid like Alex and runs across a bridge into like 5 people and he gets mad because they die.
Yeah, you don't have that.
I don't know what this sounds like, but that sounds like something I would do.
We landed and there was a bridge. It had water under it. It had tentacles and it had a empty spot on there. And this guy's always doing crazy stuff anyway.
He's
so he
doing
said,
crazy stuff.
"I'm going to dash across before anybody else could go." He gets stuck in the middle of the bridge and all these giant tentacles surround him.
Oh crap!
And then he can't.
I will
fight
say
him.
the one thing I did not like about his death is that the DM specifically ripped his limbs apart so he could not be revivified and then pulled him underneath the water. This, to me, like, as a
that
DM,
sounds like you just wanted him dead.
You shouldn't. Which usually, like, the DM who did it is a very, like, straight-laced DM. Like, he's probably the most honest DM I know. In the sense of, like, rolls and damage and stuff. Like, what he has prepares is what you get. He's not fudging any rolls for you or against you.
I don't know. I'll argue that one.
Well, that's what I get out of it.
Well, I mean, when I roll for intimidation and I roll a 27, and he already admitted this guy didn't have a high thing, and I roll a 27 to intimidate and I fail.
Yeah. Well, also with intimidation, to be fair, intimidation is whether or not they are intimidated. The outcome is not always the intent you want the intimidation to be.
Yeah.
Well, he even said that he's not intimidated by you.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, I rolled 20. I'm 3 points away from a 30, and you said this guy's skilled at this. There's no way he's hitting a 30.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also like you can have like a character who's just going to be immune to intimidation if you have him like have the right reasons. So like he's going in knowing that he's probably going to die in a combat. Like even if he's normally like a lily-livered person, like he's already come up with justification for he's going to die. So even if you try to intimidate him, but that's kind of like DM flavor that you can choose and not choose. And,
I just didn't like how he purposely did all the things specifically so Revivify could not be done. When we literally spent weeks of missions worth to get the diamonds that we needed for Revivify. Like, it wasn't just a free throwaway thing we had that could break the game. Like, we worked for it, then he's like, nah.
Plus, and Alex was always I cast darkness, and I'm going to stand here and do Eldritch Blast.
Oh, he's a chaotic player when it comes to combat, for sure.
I'm gonna ruin all your plans.
Yeah.
He's the main character in every table. He wants to be I don't care if there's 6 people that can't see in magical darkness. I'm going to cast magical darkness and kill everybody and then talk about how good I am.
Yeah. But I mean, like some of those characters, they're not really meant for group combat like that. Like that seems like a very well optimized character for like solo encounters. Put the magical darkness down, start shooting left and right, and nobody can hit him. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, but when you have like 3 rounds in combat to do things, and 2 of your rounds you're in somebody else's darkness as a player, that's all.
That's not fun. No, it's not.
Which also, at least
it's funny to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's not.
But like, imagine you're a new player and you come there and you don't even really get 1 round in combat
after you paid $10.
$10,
Yeah, I think it's much more rewarding to play like with friends and then to go to somewhere. I mean, like, I get you probably have made pretty well good connections with the DMs where you play now, but like,
Adam's still probably my favorite one.
I'm still leaning towards India.
India's good too. They're kind of.
Yeah.
Adam is more for when I just want to go and goof off because I know it's going to be more of a goofy.
Yeah. What's weird? I think Adam is definitely.
They all have different styles.
Yeah, they're totally different styles. I think Adam is like much better at like the role playing side of things.
Yeah, well, he would tell you he likes the role play a lot more.
But I always enjoy like the open-endedness of India's table. It feels a lot less leading in a lot of cases, and also just like players that end up in India's table, it's a lot more calmer, relaxed, camaraderie-ship type table versus Adam, where he actively rewards chaos.
Well, that's true too.
Which is great. Like, it's entertaining, absolutely, but. I don't want that.
I mean, if everybody's having fun at the end of the day, that's what's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's geared. I don't know. With his, it's more relaxing because I know there's a good. I mean, there's a 97% chance that my character is not dying at his.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And Z is like super chill as well.
India's the one where, okay, I'm going to have fun, but I'm going to be a little stressed out at some point.
Oh, yeah. But, see, me as a player, I love that crap. I love thinking I'm going to die and then not dying. There's nothing better than the high of narrowly escaping death. Hence, like I said before, as a DM, I give you guys what I want as a player unless told otherwise.
And
so...
I think I've always...
I don't get the high of almost dying.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because your character is so tanky.
But I mean, even like, when I had, and she's like,
you get a high off doing like chaotic speeches.
I get a high off of sneaking out behind people and stabbing them for inordinate.
Inordinate. Yeah.
Like with Kano, my highs. I want to do the final. If I only dealt the very last blow, I want to like chop a head off or cut
in the air.
Yeah, something like that.
I think my sorry if I interrupted you.
Oh no, go ahead.
I think my favorite part, like the highest high I've had so far in this campaign, has actually not been when Eric was DMing it. John was, and we got to that fight with the warlock or whatever it was, and I phantasmal forced them at just the right time and like completely ruined the encounter to like neuter the boss, and I felt like, because it was such a good counter to that specific thing, and like it was.
You had the perfect counter. So many things wouldn't have worked. You had like the 1% of things that would work effectively against that specific.
And it worked really well. And the person didn't die; they were able to, and that works out. But like,
that's by no fault of yours.
Well, yeah, no, you kind of pulled the door spell, and
I grabbed him out of there by his ears, kicking and screaming.
That's another like pet peeve of mine, is when DMs purposely do things to not allow you to negate their plans.
And that's fine, but like like having that. Him have access to some kind of teleportation magic, that makes sense. Yeah. Like it felt like it was a something that could have happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
Went into that very blind.
He didn't have that spell. It wasn't something I pulled out of my butt. He had it.
I realized that.
In case that it was a negation of what he was trying to do, It was just an avoidance of the outcome he was going for.
I had a whole other session to do.
But he still like completely voided like 5 rounds of combat that you had planned for.
That's how I felt. It wasn't like one of these, okay, I'm about to die, I'm just going to pull this out in music.
Yeah.
With him, because the way you played him, it felt like it was a natural.
Yeah, that's what he would have done. Like, it felt like you both played it perfectly. And you got the outcome of, hey, we're not having to fight this guy who can deal a crap ton of damage. And you got him to not die, at least, for a little bit.
For a little bit.
Yeah, that encounter with the dragon, though, that was fun. I got to do a ton of damage with that explosives. But I feel like that was the kind of thing that I really like, is like in combat and making those decisions where like you kind of have an outsized impact with a small, like the same thing with the making the giant laugh and just kind of shutting him down, like that kind of thing. Especially since that's what this whole character is built for, is messing with people with the illusions and stuff. I honestly like the fact that I haven't been able to do all that much with the illusions has been a little bugging me. And I'm really hoping I can get to level 10 with the character, so I can get that feat I was telling you about.
Sure, yeah. Well,
where
also,
I can
illusion is like relative to what the other like wizard classes.
Oh, they're not as powerful, definitely.
And rules as written do not give a ton of benefits to illusions.
No.
So that's really like up to the DM to make a call in the moment. Okay, what does this do? You know?
And I feel like you've been doing a pretty good job of it. I think like I think it was the first episode that we had where we did the goblin ambush.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was really fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like that's not rules as written, but you know, it worked. But every single combat. And there was like another time where you did it in the arena fight last time, I think. Where they just rolled good. You know, like I made them do the checks and they just beat it. You know, it wasn't that I disallowed it, it's just they rolled good. You know?
Yeah. Well, I rolled bad too, to be fair. Yeah. So like at the very least Zoro didn't die that time.
Yeah. It's been a couple of sessions since you've taken any damage, bro.
I decided my best place was far away from damage.
Yeah. That's kind of a bit of an issue, though. Like how the spacing works. Like I feel like Wizard should be in the very back, Rogue should be in the middle, because you can switch to melee if you need to, and then Kano's very much a frontliner.
I mean, that's what it was the last fight. Y'all were in your respective slots.
Exactly, and it worked out really well.
It worked out the way you wanted. Your tanked, your wizard, and your rogue, stabby, sneaky.
Rogue.
Yeah, but I think honestly that was one of the more forgettable fights that we've had so far. To be fair, it was just a basic group of like soldiers. It wasn't like a super difficult fight either. But like,
well.
I mean, you gotta have the easy fights to make the hard fights feel more impactful, I think, right?
What's that? Oh, yeah. I mean, which not every fight is going to be, we have to, this is the granddaddy of them all, you know? Like, it's...
See, I kind of enjoy, like, the littler fight, you know, and then mixing, like, that one wasn't too bad stressful, especially after having that arena.
Yeah, that was stressful.
That arena was rough. But it was supposed to be rough. An arena fight is supposed to be crap, we gotta actually strategize here, do the best we can to have a chance of winning.
I think the big thing that I've been running into as far as the way I've built this character, though, is almost all of my like spells, in some way or another, is concentration. Yeah. And like once I start using one of the concentration spells, I'm locked out of like 90% of my spells or something like that.
Which haste is just really good when Kano hits as consistently as he does. Again, the synergy with having the +2 Great Axe.
Oh yeah, it's so ridiculous how much damage he was out.
It's just he's going to output the damage.
You were doing like average around 40 damage a turn, right? Right, Kano?
Yeah, close to
Yeah,
it.
and you're just giving him an instant 30% or 33% increase solely by using.
And he also takes 10% less, like because of the increased AC.
AC jumping up to a 20.
Yeah,
because there was probably 6-7 hits that didn't hit.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that you gave me Healing Word as a wizard, though. That has been like, it gives me another option to play around with, and I do really like that. It's all like the most it can heal on a first level spell slot is 10 health, so it doesn't feel super broken. But as a bonus action, being able to heal him 10, and then being able to cantrip, hit somebody for 20 or less, like that's a lot of health.
Your intelligence at 22 right now.
Yeah.
That also helps tremendously, like instantly, because like even your rolls, like usually a Healing Word, the roll, it accounts for like 50% of the healing. Here it only accounts for like 25-30% of the total healing. The rest of it is just guaranteed health.
Yeah, you get six guaranteed. It's 7 or 10.
Like
between 7 and 10.
A life cleric at your level would be healing about the same amount of damage, and that is what their subclass thing is based on.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
but it also makes me a bit of a one-trick pony. I mean, I have a little bit of charisma. I have a little dexterity. I have no strength. Yeah. I have very little wisdom.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, honestly, it puts you in more of a support mage kind of situation.
And that's what I wanted. I built this character to be. I'm not being a massive.
You're casting Healing Word, and you're doing an attack secondarily to that. Usually,
I do like the fact that I haven't picked up Fireball or any of like the really classic mage spells, because I feel like
missiling and fireballing every single turn.
Yeah, because that kind of gets a little bit predictable, and I feel like this way I'm having a little bit more fun trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but to be honest, that's one reason why I personally like the randomized spell aspect of your character, because it doesn't put you in a box where you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Like for example, Sorcerer Warlock, which is a very good class.
Yeah, thanks for looking at me.
But you do the same thing. It's Twin Spell, Eldritch Blast, Quicken Eldritch Blast, and you do a crap ton of damage.
I've been doing a lot of Witch Bolts.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, because
that's still like.
I think I did actually get Witch Bolt, but it's also concentration, so.
Yep. But it's also a guaranteed or an automatic hit, so.
Which is also really good against magic users, because con saves. That's one reason why I'm like, it's not quite as automatic as Witch Bolt, but I just got Call Lightning for my Tempest Cleric, and I'm really excited about it, because
I really gotta go.
I don't have to.
Alright, see you, Chris.
See y'all.
It's just there over and over and over and over, and not having to waste spell slots. Same thing with Witch Bolt. Your action economy is so good if damage is your main thing,
Well, I mean, like, the Phantasmal Force is kind of that, but it's also a little bit of... And just being able to have some kind of a hazard that only exists in their head that they can't figure out is it's exactly what this character would do, And there was a couple times where I was like, maybe I shouldn't have put haste on Kano. Maybe I should have just been using Phantasmal Force, because I feel like maybe that's what my character would have done,
Sure. Yeah.
And that's I think that's kind of the most rough thing about playing this character is I don't play this character for a week, and then I'm like, what would this character do? Do I remember what this character would do?
After a week, I feel like this is a pretty fairly regular compared to a lot of games.
Comparatively, like we had a couple gaps. 3-4 weeks, and it was like, what was my accent again? Was it up here? Was it down here?
Yeah.
How about you, John? You said you really liked the role play. Is there any part of the combat or is it just a little bit? because I think you've played less D&D than everyone at the table.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, except Christina, who is no longer with us.
May she rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. With her family and her roided out version of herself.
She actually achieved happiness. It's crazy.
Wow.
Imagine that.
And now she doesn't play any D&D anymore?
Huh, maybe there's a connection there.
No.
Maybe a lesson to be learned.
True happiness does not come from D&D. Anyway.
You know, sometimes I would be watching or listening to Critical Role while I work, and I'm like, oh, these guys, they have all this crazy role play, and all this fun, and they're doing all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, wow, our sessions are kind of lame by comparison.
Yeah.
But then I actually come here and I play the game, and I have so much fun, I'm like, nah, man, I wouldn't give this up.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Just because it's probably not as appealing.
Me too.
Just because it's not necessarily as appealing, it's definitely a lot of fun while we're doing it. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely not as appealing to watch.
I'll be honest.
I mean, yeah, probably not.
Earlier today, I'm like, I don't want to do D&D tonight. I just want to take a nap. I just want to sleep.
I feel that.
We start, I'm like, great, yeah, let's go.
The fact that I was working on the episode beforehand was definitely getting me hyped for it.
Oh yeah, nice. Maybe that should just all be our thing. We just watch the previous episodes the day of to get us all.
I mean, we're artificially inflating the views, and then all over the world watching.
You just put that stuff on replay, man, over and over. Pull up one on your laptop, one on your iPad, one on your phone, one on your computer. Just have it running nonstop.
I could do that. I just got a new phone, so I can get it running on 2 phones on my laptop.
Heck yeah, brother.
How many people watching the video does it take until we start getting revenue?
This brand new YouTube channel has thousands of views already. They must be really good.
They're the best.
Yeah. I will say one thing that I don't know how to fix, but I noticed as a viewer is while the campaign started, it took a while before D&D began.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it was different
because we did a lot of the like.
Was a lot quicker because I was conscientious of that.
There you go.
So
we did a lot of the like financial stuff, and we're talking about how we're gonna deal with that moving forward. Sure. And then it took us almost 30 minutes before we got into playing the game proper, almost.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's and I still think that stuff is important to have, but logistically, I don't know where else to put it. Because let's be honest, if we put it at the end of the night, I can't be like, oh, you're in the middle of an encounter. Let's retcon back 30 days before. Where are you spending your money?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work.
It's just not going to work unless you guys are back in home base by 9 night.
And that's never.
And that's no way to play.
Not with my style of DM. I'm not going to rush you through something unnecessarily. I could have made it a 20-minute fight. I don't want that. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want a short little give me a win 20-minute fight.
No, let me earn a win.
Exactly.
I mean, if you TPK us, I am completely fine with that.
Yeah.
If you TPK, I will be shocked. Because don't get me wrong, I surely believe that we can be beat in a fight.
Uh-huh.
But I also think at least Kano and I are pretty well built to run away from a fight.
Yeah.
I'm dead. If we die, I'm dead. That's just how it goes. I'm probably the first casualty that will die.
Honestly, yeah.
You're one of the first to go. Is going to be really hard and super situational. I absolutely will get a player kill before I get a TPK.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's very hard for me to see a world where I get a full party wipe before I kill one of you individually. You know?
Well, all it takes is one fireball while we're all low and putting ourselves close together, and bada bang, we're all dead.
A little bit low, and then one of us falls into acid. Boom! A few automatic fails and the death saves.
Game
over.
And And also to your thing, that would be the way to do it if I was trying to do it. But I don't go into combat with a mindset of let me get a TPK. Like, I have motives for all my NPCs.
However, I do think that like if the opportunity presents itself to a enemy that is of sufficient intelligence, that they should take it every single time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I plan on running it like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of things have to line up for that to line up perfectly, and I don't base my encounters based off outcome. I base it off of narrative and what I think is cool. You know, I don't base.
Gotta get a little bit of that in there, right?
Things of
Rule of cool is so important.
Let me figure out what would be the best way to get everybody down and then finish them off with a fireball from this guy. And also another thing, I don't do much on the fly modifications of encounters. Like, I do it ahead of time. Or, I'm sorry, like, all the things that lead up to it, sure, yeah, you change it, you go with the flow, whatever. You know, I can't plan for an interrogation. I have no idea that that's going to happen. I have no idea that the combat is even going to happen.
By the way, you did well with the interrogation.
Oh, thanks.
That was pretty fun. Like, I could feel the desperation of a person trying, and just, like, I'm just, let me leave, you know, like.
Sure, yeah.
No.
Well, that was the intent. But, like, I can't plan for that. But, like, the encounter, like, you're getting the same encounter. You know, I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys beat this guy in the first round before he could even roll. I'm going to bring in 3 more enemies from the back. You know, like, I'm just not going to do that. Because I think I just don't fudge much, you know? Like, I have.
Yeah.
Little tiny things, but, like, nothing big.
Yeah, like increasing like one person's AC over.
Yeah. One of the biggest examples of me fudging an encounter is when you were in the pyramid and like you defeat the magic guy in 2 rounds when he was supposed to like come really close, if not already killing one of you guys. And
that was.
Well, that only took 12 minutes. This was supposed to be an hour-long encounter. Guess what? Here's another guy at the bottom of the stair. Like, that's the only enemy I brought from scratch to an encounter based off what y'all did, you know?
I do think that fit, though. That worked. That encounter really worked. I feel like the exploration of that pyramid just took way longer, and then the encounter itself super short.
Yeah,
I felt like the biggest problem with that encounter though was the fact that it was just the one guy.
Yeah.
And anytime you have an encounter with just one guy, you either have to give him legendary actions, so that he can do stuff during everyone else's turn, or you have to just say screw it and give him some minions, or even both. Because I was thinking like that encounter would have been legitimately pretty scary if he had legendary actions and was going after everyone's turn and was doing stuff, and that would have been really fun.
My man had 6 level spells. Like 6 level spells when y'all are what, level 4?
I think we were were we 5 at that point?
5? Yeah.
Because we're 6 now, right?
I was 4th level artificer.
Gotcha.
Or sorry, rogue.
That is
one level artificer.
Yeah, so like.
So you're level 5.
I was really excited to run that boss. Like, I spent probably 20 times more thinking about what that boss would do than actual time in game doing what the boss was doing. You know.
That sucks.
And I was just like, all right. Well, isn't that what DMs are supposed to do? Plan things that their players don't let them do.
Yeah, that's
pretty much.
That's what they tell me.
That's the thing.
The big thing that I think would I don't know, like having themed encounters is such a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I think that like when I was down there and I was running that shot for you guys, I had the 3 different encounters planned, and then I had each like have like a different theme, and like the mobs that I got for each of them had like the different. I had like that aquatic one that you guys ended up running, where it was like these guys are like crazy cultist water frog people that can literally see invisibility. So like invisibility doesn't work. And so they make really good guards, but they're dumb as all get out, and they don't hit all that hard. And the only thing that's really threatening is going to be this clay golem in the vault. But like you guys just, it ended up not really working out into that.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what I did for the other two. I'm gonna look that up now.
I have them. We didn't go there. Still got them.
I do. I kind of want to pull them up though, because I think I had just a random bandit camp, but it was gonna be a what was it? Here we go. It was gonna be a very fun encounter with a hostage situation where the hostage didn't really want to come with you.
Oh
no! So I had it'd be like, it was bog standard bandits, but the basic was that the boss will have casted Charm Person on the person that you're trying to rescue. Yeah. And you guys don't realize that, so she doesn't want to leave.
Yeah. I've run into that. I'm trying to remember where. Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah.
So that was the one that, and then the other one was just a random dungeon delve that I had a bunch of traps ready for, and there was going to be a couple of young dragons that you were going to fight, and the idea was that there was 2 of them that nested here, and they were runaway teenagers that were shunned because they were dating on the wrong side of the fence, so to speak, because one of them was one type of dragon and one of them was the other type of dragon.
Yeah.
And then so the idea was depending upon a luck check, you would fight one and then the other one would come in while you're in the middle of the fight, and just new initiative, there's another one here. Yeah. But I don't know, that kind of so it was a kobold dungeon with dragons. The kobold's the worst dragons. So I was trying to fit that, have a little bit of a narrative and that kind of a thing. And I feel like that's so important to have the encounter make sense, within the world that you're building, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Alright, well, I think I'm going to stop the recording and start.
Yeah, I think we can have this be our discussion.
Yes.
I never turned it off.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we talked for a long time about random things by recording.